Seeing as how it is now 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to a pretty cool day. It's one of my favorite days that we get to have when we get to make major announcements like today. So just as a memo to everyone, my name is Al Cameron. I'm the Director of Communication and Media Relations for Curling Canada. A couple bookkeeping notes. If you could all please keep yourselves muted while, if you're not speaking, please keep yourself muted. That way we don't get the background noise. And to those who are looking for permission to record from the media, just let us know in the chat window. And my colleague Kyle Jans, who's on the call, will grant permission to record. And once we're done with all the formal proceedings, we will proceed to a Q&A format, and you'll just be able to use your raise hand function that you'll find at the bottom of the screen where it says reactions. You just click on reactions, and there you'll be able to raise your hand. So, before we proceed any further, I would like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather virtually is the traditional territory of the Andiwadaron, Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Lenape peoples who have long-standing relations to the land, water, and region of southwestern Ontario. The local First Nation communities of this area include Chippewas of the Thames First Nation, Oneida Nation of the Thames, and Munsee Delaware Nation. Additionally, there is a growing urban Indigenous population who make the City of London home. We value the significant historical and contemporary contributions of local and regional First Nations of Turtle Island. So, I'm now going to introduce our Chief Executive Officer, Catherine Henderson, who will make a big announcement. Catherine?
Thanks, Al. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Il y a plusieurs raisons d'être enthousiastique et optimiste aujourd'hui à London, une ville qui m'est chère. J'ai le privilège de représenter Curling Canada, notre conseil de gouverneur et notre personnel aujourd'hui, en cette journée vraiment importante pour le sport de curling et la ville de London. There's lots of reasons to be excited and optimistic today in London, a city that is near and dear to me. It is my privilege to be representing Curling Canada, our Board of Governors, and our staff today on what is really an important day for the sport of curling and for the City of London. So I won't keep you in suspense, and you can unmute yourselves if you choose to clap as soon as I say this. I could not be happier to announce the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier, presented by AGI, will be played in London.
Way.
Okay, everyone, make sure you mark March 3rd to 12th, 2023 in your calendars, and please be ready to party at the Budweiser Gardens. There are many people who've worked hard to make today's announcement possible, but it really starts with our partners at Tim Hortons, who continue to be wonderful supporters of the Brier and the sport of curling. And we couldn't be more grateful to have this long-standing partnership with an iconic Canadian company, and we truly thank them for everything they do for our sport. I'd also like to acknowledge our tremendous presenting sponsor, AGI, for their support. The City of London and Tourism London did not hold back when it came to bidding to host the Tim Hortons Brier, so that made it a straightforward decision from the selection committee. The support and dedication of Mayor Ed Holder and Council, as well as Tourism London, were profound, to say the least. And it's a big reason why we were happy to keep coming back to London, Ontario. Our thanks to you, as well as to our partners at the Ontario and the federal governments. We're hopeful that we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel after a couple of very trying seasons, but through it all, we've had constant support and dedication from our member associations across Canada as they continue to build our sport for all to enjoy safely and responsibly. I'd like to thank Curl On Executive Director Steve Chenier for his valuable contributions in making today's announcement possible. And to our local host committee, headed by Vice Chairs Peter Inch, Ted Smith, and Ken Schofield, we know you're already putting in the long hours, but we'll do everything we can to make them rewarding as we lead up to that first rock in Budweiser Gardens. We know all about your track record of successful events here in London, and you've set the bar high, but we know that you've got the team in place to get over that bar. Again, thank you, merci to all for joining us today, and we will see you next March at the Budweiser Gardens. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. Well, there it is. Obviously the worst kept secret in London, but now it's official and we couldn't be happier. A couple things to note, obviously. We are thrilled to be going back to Budweiser Gardens. What a great facility. We've had some good times there in the past, obviously. A great building for curling, a great building for just about everything. I know the London Knights obviously are the main tenant, and a big reason why we're able to do events such as the Tim Hortons Brier successfully is the cooperation of not only the arena, but the main tenant. So I would really like to acknowledge the London Knights. I know it's not an easy ask to get a major junior team to leave its building in March. When the playoff race is getting tight. So I would really like to thank the London Knights for allowing us to come into Budweiser Gardens. I believe Alex Brown, the Director of Marketing, is on. Thank you, Alex, and thank you sincerely to the London Knights. And now, to speak on behalf of the City of London, I would like to introduce the Mayor, Ed Holder. Mr. Holder?
Well, thanks very much. Bonjour tout le monde, and good morning, everyone. On behalf of all of our city and our London Council, and on the line with me are Councillor Sean Lewis and Miriam Hamou. I'd like to acknowledge everyone at Curling Canada and the Ontario Curling Association. Look, you've already said it, but I have to say it because I'm so excited. I can assure you London's passionate curling community and our city at large will raise the bar for all that's involved in hosting this Brier. I'd like to thank my good friends at Tourism London. I see Cheryl and Xanth on the line, as well as the organizing committee led by my good friend Peter Inch, for all your efforts in bringing this tournament back to London. Peter, you don't know just a few people in curling across the country, you know, like everyone. And that truly does matter in an effort like this. And you've been such a stalwart, and we're very grateful for your heart, your compassion, and your desire to make this work. Look, you'll all remember London last hosted the Brier in 2011. Fun fact, I was a member of Parliament, and I was sitting with the Prime Minister at the time. We held up our Tim Hortons cups. That was the picture, and what a great Brier it was. You know, just 11 years ago, and yet in many ways it feels like a lifetime. Today's announcement comes at absolutely the right time. We need things to look forward to, reasons to celebrate, reasons to get excited, and hosting the 2023 Brier, well, it checks all those boxes. The last time the Brier came to town, more than 100,000 fans turned out. And given the pent-up demand for larger gatherings and live entertainment, I think it's safe to say we'll easily exceed those numbers next March. And as excited as I am for London and for curling fans, I'm equally excited for our downtown businesses and the hospitality sector. Look, like communities across this country, they've been challenged and suffered tremendously over the last couple of years. And we know that an event of this magnitude pumps millions of dollars back into our local economy. So does Curling Canada, we say thank you. When London plays host, we roll out the red carpet like no other city in Canada. It's why over the last few years, we've hosted the Junos, the Canadian Country Music Awards, the Ontario Country Music Awards, the Continental Cup, the Scottish Tournament of Hearts, Memorial Cups, and many other events. Our business community gets it. Our community gets it. Our volunteer base gets it. Londoners, we all get it. And this will be without a doubt a Brier like no other. So on behalf of all Londoners, on behalf of London City Council, we absolutely cannot wait to see you in March of next year. Thank you, merci, miigwech.
Mayor Holder, I am fired up after that. Holy smokes, that's I can't wait. Having been to London for events in the past, we've had great times there, and I feel like we're in for a good party in 2023. You know, you've talked about the benefits of hosting a Tim Hortons Brier, and it's a big reason why we get bids from across the country looking to host this event. The economic benefits, the exposure on TSN and around the world, quite frankly. It's broadcast on ESPN streaming in the United States. Somehow, some way, our peers in Europe and Asia are able to watch. I probably don't want to know how they are watching, but they are watching. So this is great exposure for host cities, and it's a big reason why we get so many quality bids. And I'd really like to acknowledge all the other cities that put in bids to host this Tim Hortons Brier. We thank you. We sincerely thank you, and we urge you to get those bids back in for the 2024 event, as that process will be starting soon. So thank you to everyone who placed a bid for the Tim Hortons Brier. Kathy mentioned our work that goes hand in hand with our member associations, and Curlon obviously is a big part of that work. They're doing remarkable things for the sport of curling in this province. And to speak on behalf of Curlon, I'd like to introduce their executive director, Steve Chenier. Steve?
I almost started talking without unmuting. You think after 2 years, you get this down to a science. Thanks, everyone, and welcome. This is good to be part of a positive news conference for a change instead of all the other ones we've all had to be part of over the last bit. Curl On and its board are very pleased to have one of the marquee events from the Season of Champions hosted here in Ontario. With the past hosting opportunities that have happened in London over the years and the value of its organizing committee and the community, we are just so happy and feel that this is going to be one of the best Briers TV ever, and we expect good things from this group. We look forward to working with Curling Canada, the host committee, and all partners to help showcase the sport of curling to a diversified and inclusive population. Anytime you get to host an event like this, with a long tradition like the Brier, you raise the value and the opportunities locally and across the province. And this is one of the things that we're going to rally behind and help. So we're looking forward to rolling up our sleeves and getting everybody excited about the Brier in a year's time.
Thanks, Steve. I know you join me in acknowledging that a lot of the stakeholders that made today possible, and I'd really like to throw a shout out to the government of Ontario. Obviously, we've had a lot of discussions with them over the past couple of weeks leading up to the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, which begins Friday up in Thunder Bay. And Lisa MacLeod, obviously the Minister of Heritage, Sport, Tourism and Culture Industries, a big supporter of curling events in Ontario. I know we spoke with her a lot at the Tim Hortons Brier in Kingston in 2020, and I know she spoke highly of that event, and I expect we'll be seeing her in London next year. Tourism London, just outstanding work leading up to today's announcement, and I'd like to introduce their Director of Sport Tourism, Xanth Jarvis, to speak on behalf of Tourism London. Xanth?
Thanks, Alan. Good morning, everyone, and thanks everyone for joining us for this announcement. I mean, it's as it's been stated a couple of times, but it's an exciting day. We're all extremely excited to bring this event back to London. And it's also very rewarding to see all the work that our local curling community has put in. This has been a plan probably that dates back 5 or 6 years ago now to look to host the Brier again. And it really, we said, we got to do the Continental Cup in 2018 and again in 2020. And really the work that Peter and Ted and everyone from the local curling community has put in here in London. Without that work, this wouldn't be possible. So again, I would just like to reiterate that and thank you all so much. And thank you to Curling Canada for trusting us to host this event. As you mentioned, it's one of the top annual sporting events in the Canadian sporting calendar each year. And so to trust London to do a great job, we appreciate that. And we definitely won't let you down. There's no denying how tough this pandemic has been on our local industry. And while this one event won't be what recovers our industry, it's a step in the right direction. And we're hopeful that it's something to look forward to, as there hasn't been much of that lately. So we really think that this is going to be a great event, provide that economic impact, and really help us along the way in terms of recovery. So thank you all very much. If it's anything like 2011, it's going to be a heck of a party, and we're counting down the days and it'll be here before we know it. So thank you so much, everyone.
Many thanks, Xanth. Two of the big questions, obviously, that follow announcements such as this are related to tickets and volunteers. And I can tell you that there will be announcements rolling out on both of those items in the next few weeks. Look for ticket packages, full event packages to go on sale in the very near future. And I'm pleased to say that the man who's going to be overseeing that process, Andy Henry, is on our line. He's our manager of ticketing, and he just happens to be a proud London boy. So thanks for joining us today, Andy. So he'll be giving out some information on tickets and volunteers as well. That information will be coming out soon. Go to curling.ca. You'll be able to sign up to get advance notice of these sign-up opportunities, both for tickets as well as volunteers. A lot of work to do, obviously, between now and March of 2023, getting that arena set up, getting the patch set up. You all are aware of the patch, I'm sure. I only visit for research purposes only, but it is a good time to be had. And the man that can tell you all about how these events work, because nobody knows them any better, is the vice chair of the host committee, our former chair, a member of the Canadian Curling Hall of Fame, Mr. Peter Inch. Peter?
Thanks, Al. On behalf of the vice chairs, Ken Schofield, Ted Smith, and myself, it's a great pleasure to thank all our partners who helped make this announcement possible today. So to Tim Hortons, AGI, Curling Canada, Curl On, Steve Chenier, the City of London, Mayor Ed Holder, Xanth and Cheryl Finn of Tourism London, to the bid committee, to our 4 curling clubs, the Highland Community Curling Club, the Ilderton Curling Club, the London Curling Club, and the St. Thomas Curling Club. You have all been great partners in making the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier a reality. This will be the third time the Brier has been held in London and the second time at Budweiser Gardens and RBC Place. I'd like to thank Brian Old and Lori De Silva for their support in securing the 2023 Brier. To the London Knights, to Mark and Dale Hunter, thank you for allowing us to interrupt your home games. Maybe we can even get the players out to try a little curling. And last but not least, Ken, Ted, and myself, along with all the volunteers, look forward to presenting an outstanding event to all the curling supporters from across Canada and welcome them to the Forest City in March of 2023. Thank you, and buy your tickets early.
Thanks, Peter, and I'll be calling you later. I do have an air conditioning problem that I need you to look into. So if you know a guy who knows a guy, that would be terrific. Well, obviously, thank you to all of you today. That concludes the formal portion of today's announcement. So now we get into the Q&A. We have media people on the line. If you'd like to ask questions to anybody who's spoken today, please use that raise hand function that's at the bottom of the screen. Just click on reactions, and there you will find the raise hand icon. And we'll start with Brent Lale at CTV News London. Brent?
Hey guys, this is for Xanth. Obviously, the last 2 years has been devastating for downtown London, for tourism, for hotels, for everybody. What kind of financial impact, or how can this really just kind of help us bounce back out of what the devastating impacts have been to downtown London?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been significant what this pandemic has caused. However, an event like this, I think just alone for the participants in Curling Canada, that's 2,200 hotel rooms right there, right? We're looking at a projected economic impact between $8 to $10 million. And so it's a significant boost. And as I mentioned, this one event won't be all of the recovery. It's going to take a while, but it's certainly, again, is a step in the right direction and a significant step in the right direction.
We'll go to Jonathan Juha. Jonathan, can you tell us your media affiliation before asking the question, Jonathan?
Yes, I am with the London Free Press. So I just wanted to ask to Curling Canada, probably Catherine, as you guys mentioned, you probably received dozens of bids to host the event each time. Curious as to what tipped the scales for London this time around.
Oops, just trying to unmute myself. Thank you, Jonathan. That's a great question. So you can actually see, our bidding documents. They're all available publicly, but we really look for a combination of, there's an economic reason, there's a social reason, and there's a sport reason. And when we come to the social reasons, London is a fabulous, it's a fabulous city. They knock it out of the park every time they host a sporting event. We've partnered with them before. We know that they know how to build up around, and then we have just really, really, really great relationships there, and they've proven to us over and over again that they know how to do this, and they know how to do it really well. I would say the bid that was put forward, which is a combination of financial support, of sort of cultural and social support around it, and sort of tourism things, was just outstanding. And it was. These are always difficult decisions, but just going back to London and knowing the success that they've had in the past made this a much easier decision.
All right, we'll go back to Brent Lale at CTV News London. Brent?
Peter, can you just talk about the bid a little bit, like either the financial components of it, or just kind of how much work has gone into this bid? I know it's been a long time coming, but how much you guys have put into this, and I guess how pleased you are now to know that it's been successful.
Yeah, we've been, to be honest, we've been working on this bid since 2012. We've been talking about it and determining when the best year would be to have it, and how we could make it all work out. So it's been a long process, but it's been a rewarding process. And the Continental Cups were a couple of what I call steps that we had to take before we felt confident of putting that bid forward again. The financial side of it, Tourism London came forward, helped us out an awful lot with that. They allowed us with the hotel, I'm going to call it the hotel tax that's out there that allows us to put these bids forward, that allows that money to come from hotel rooms that are booked throughout the year, allows us to bring events like this. And it's an important part of making that happen then. And the volunteer base is huge as well. We always think the volunteers come from our curling clubs, but in London, our volunteers come from the community. It's not just from the curling club, and we saw that. And so we're very confident that we can provide an outstanding event with volunteers and knock it out of the park like we always do.
Brent, you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I don't know who would speak to this really. Maybe it's Catherine, I don't know, but just the hope that by 2023 that this is something that can happen. I mean, it's kind of grim to think about that we're like, a year and a bit away, to think that maybe this, we'll still be in what we're in right now, but just the hope and excitement towards looking ahead to a year and a bit from now, hoping that we're back to normal and, we'll have 10,000 plus enjoying this. I don't know who speaks to that, but somebody from Curling Canada maybe, or the committee.
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly talk from Curling Canada's position. I mean, we're planning for a full Brier at this point. We always take advice from public health. We always play the, we always play the game as safely as we possibly can. But at this point, with Canada's commitment to public health, our vaccine rates, and what we are seeing right now as peaking numbers, we are quite confident that coming to London, we're going to have a really terrific time. And so the plan at this point is that we want to be partying in that patch together.
Well, I see that as a great way to finish things off. Party in the patch in London in 2023. I'd like to thank everybody for being a part of today's announcement. To the media members, if you're looking for a recording of the audio or video, please email me at acameron@curling.ca and I can send something out to you. But otherwise, we will be in constant touch with you leading up to that 2023 Briers. Thank you all for participating today and have a great rest of your Monday.